Yo, what's up, YouTube? All right, so for this video, I'm just gonna kind of go over the process of getting your CDL permit in Florida, in the state of Florida. So what you got to do is first you have to get your medical card, your DOT physical. So you're gonna want to find a doctor. I went on and just searched for like DOT a physical exam on Google, and you can find a bunch of different doctors, and there's going to be a bunch of different links of places that you can go so that you can get it. And I tried to find like a low cost one. The one that I ended up getting was $75. It's I live down in Southwest Florida, so this guy was out of Naples, Florida. Um, I'll leave like a link to his thing down there. But basically, you want to look for something somewhere around like $70. I will say it was like way more intense than I thought it was going to be as far as like a physical goes. I don't go to the doctor or anything. I don't have any health problems. So, your mileage may vary. But for me, I was just surprised at everything that they went over. Like, it's a lot of mobility stuff. Obviously, I'm like totally lightweight, so if you are heavier, there may be like more stuff to do, but they check like your blood pressure. Also had to do urinalysis, but it's only for just to check and see if you have diabetes or anything. They're checking the sugar in your urine, and yeah, there's a hearing test where they just say it's like a forced whisper. So they speak kind of quietly, and they check your. They're 6 feet away from you on your left ear, and then also on your right ear, and they do a vision test. And you can wear, like, if you have glasses or contacts or anything, I'm pretty sure you can wear them. So it's just your correctable vision has to be down below like 20/40 or whatever. Um, so they check that, yeah, and then it's just like a bunch of mobility and touch stuff. Like, they check your reflexes and make sure you don't have don't have a hernia or anything like that. There's like a whole questionnaire on everything, so look into that because that's where you can get tripped up and get disqualified on stuff. So, make sure if you have anything that you're going to have to list on there, you may want to like look into that. Same with any medications that you're taking. You got to have all that, get that all set up on there too. And you can find all that information online, whether or not it's like something that's approved or not. And then, you'll want to handle that however you want to handle that. Then once you have your DOT physical, then what you got to do is study for your permit test. And I'm down in Lee County, Florida, and so everything's going to be different. But the way that they're doing it here is you have to have an appointment to go into in Florida. You don't go to. We don't have a DMV. It's all handled by the county tax collector. So you have to make an appointment with the tax collector's office, and only certain ones actually do these knowledge exams. And I'm just going to tell you, nobody had any clue what was going on. Everything that I called in beforehand to find out was all wrong. So I'm going to tell you how it actually goes. So you're going to want to get that set up, and so you schedule your appointment. It was like 10 days out, so I had plenty of time to study. When you're studying, the school that I'm going to, they sent me all the info for the state handbook. And in Florida, you just need to do sections. If you're getting your Class A CDL, you need to do sections 1 through 3, which are all general knowledge, which is just basic driving stuff for a commercial vehicle. Then you need to do section 5, which is air brakes, which is all about using air brakes. You don't have to do that, but if you don't pass that exam, your permit is going to have an air brakes restriction, and obviously I wouldn't be able to drive the stuff at the school that way. And then also combination is section 6, which is for driving a tractor and a trailer, the combination vehicle. So I got all those. The school told me to use the DMV Genie app, and I went through, I read all the sections in the handbook, and I did in the Florida handbook, there's like all these like section review questions after every couple, when they go through like different things. I want to say maybe like 70 to 80 pages or so of reading, and it's like kind of technical stuff. I actually did learn some things. A lot of it I already knew just from knowing some stuff about trucks and whatnot. But yeah, a lot of it I learned. But if you're doing your research online, a lot of it you're already going to be pretty familiar with. And then anything else, just make sure you go back and review it. So then you want to start doing your DMV Genie app. And I did like the study for each of the sections. I did like the study portion and went through all that. They had 400 different questions for the general knowledge. And then they had, I think it was like 250 or so, maybe it was 200. Yeah, I think it was 200 for air brakes and then like 150 for combination. And so I went through those different ones and did all of the study questions. And then like the day before I started, they have an exam simulator. So I started going through the exam simulator somewhere around the day before. And I didn't really know what to do because they told me I was going to be able to do all my tests all at once. You just go in there at your appointment time and you do your test. Well, that's not at all how it works. So my appointment came. Thank God, I had it on my iPad, this DMV Genie app, not on my phone. I don't really use my phone for anything other than like calling and texting and whenever you have an app that you have to use on the phone, you know what I mean, like Target app or any of that kind of crap. But so I brought my iPad, and while I was in the car before my appointment time, I was trying to cram last minute, and so that's what I did. And then I go in. Your appointment isn't actually, it's only an appointment to check in. Then you check in, you still gotta wait. So I was waiting. I check in. And I'm waiting. It was like a half an hour, and I'm like, yeah, man, I could have been studying this whole time. So I go out to my car and grab my iPad. Finally, as soon as I'm walking back in, they call my number. So I go up. I'm like, look, I just grabbed my iPad. I'm like, can you hold on to this? And they're like, no, but as long as you don't open it during the while you're in there in the exam center, it's not a problem. I was like, all right. So then I asked them. I'm like, okay, so I'm doing all three of these, and they're like, no. All that you're doing right now is just the general knowledge. I'm like, well, what about the other ones? And they said at this one, now I'm at this was at the South Fort Myers location was where I went to, where I scheduled my appointment. That was the first one I could get into. Went to the South Fort Myers one, and they said that specifically for CDL people, they will allow you, as long as you pass the first one, they'll let you go take the second one, and then you keep going one at a time. So anyway, so it's just the general knowledge, which cool. I thought, hey, this one's going to be super easy, right? Because it was all basic stuff. Well, yes and no. Here's what happened. So I go in there and start taking the exam, and everything that I read said, pretty much like, oh yeah, like 90% of these questions on this DMV Genie app are exactly what's on the exam when you go take it. That was not the case at all. I'd say maybe at best like half of them were on the DMV Genie app, but thank God I actually went through and read all of the material, so I totally knew what was going on. It wasn't a big deal. I'll give some test tips here in a little bit on ways that you can easily pass once you've taken the exam. So I get that done, then you gotta go back, wait, get another ticket to go back and see someone else. I did that. I get up there, they're like, all right, you passed, we have enough computers still available, we'll let you go ahead and take the second one. I was like, all right, cool. So the second one's air brakes. So at this time I have my iPad with me, so this whole time I'm cramming my air brakes this whole time. And I went through, I finished all the exam simulators, so I was like, all right, great. Now, I would also have to pay. They charge you, it's $6.25 per day that you go and do any of these computer tests. Now, at some locations, they only let you do one test per day, and so it's going to be $6.25 per day for you. Also, if you fail and you need to retake one, there's an additional $10 fee when you go to do your retake. So it's $16.25 when you do your retake. At this location, what they do, if you're doing CDL stuff, as long as you have enough, as long as they have enough computers available for you to test on, they'll allow you to keep going. You can even fail a test one time, but when you get your second failure, boom, you're done for the day. So, anyways, just so that you're aware of that. So they're trying to collect my payment for the $625, and first of all, they couldn't even pull up that I passed the test, so they had to go and manually do it. I mean, they were able to see that, obviously, that I passed it, but there was some sort of like network connection issue or something. So they go through all that, and then they couldn't take my payment, so they're like, all right, as soon as you finish this, go ahead and get another ticket, but just come right back and see me directly. Don't wait for your number to be called. I was like, all right. So I do that. I cram, I'd already been cramming for the air brakes. I go and I pass it. It was like 3 minutes. It's only general knowledge is 50 questions in Florida. It's 50 questions. Air brakes is 25, and combination is 20. As soon as you pass, as soon as you get 80% correct, so like for the general knowledge, as soon as you hit 40 questions correct, you pass, they stop you immediately. If you hit 11 wrong, you fail, and they stop you immediately. And then same thing with the other ones for 80% percentages on those as well. So, 20 questions right, and you pass air brakes, and then once you hit your 16th correct question on combination, then you're done. So, luckily, I was prepared either way, but for the air brakes and combination, on those, DMV Genie was pretty much the same exact questions for the most part. I would definitely agree that at least 90% of them were on DMV Genie app. So if you're doing that, you're going to be good on at least on the air brakes and combination in Florida. General knowledge, you definitely want to read and make sure you know your stuff on that, because it's totally different, or mostly different. So got that done. I passed that one in like under 4 minutes. It was super, I was totally prepared for it. So then I went back and saw her, and I'm trying to, while I was sitting there, the person I was working with, they already had someone else that they were dealing with, but they acknowledged me and said, I'll get to you as soon as I'm done with them. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm sitting there cramming, trying to at least get as much as I can on combination, and because I was worried, because I didn't know if it was going to be different, because the general was totally different. And so I'm going through, and she gets me set up on the computer, and I was like, can I take 2-minute break here real quick just to get ready? She's like, no, the computer's available, you gotta go start it right now. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I go do that. It was like exactly 3 minutes was all it took me for the combination, because you only had to get 16 right. So I just zipped right through, and it was like I said, it was pretty much the same as the as DMV Genie. Now here are the tips for you on taking these tests. What you want to do, and I talked to some other people online. They said some of the other states operate pretty much the same way, because they also explained this to me wrong at the DMV, but I figured it out while I was taking the test. So you have the option to skip a question. You also have the option to repeat it. Now, I did not use the repeat because of the way that they explained it wrong, but I'm assuming for the repeat is the way that they told me the skip works. On repeat, it's going to come back to you randomly to that same question later on. With the skip, they told me that's how skip worked. So I was using skip, but I never got those questions back. The ones that I skipped never came back to me. There are so many questions that they have in the rotation that, it basically, here's the thing. If you don't know 100% that you know the answer to it, just skip it. You're going to get one that you know. So that's what I was doing. Zipped right through. Hey, if I didn't know right off the bat, boom, skip, went to another one. And I got so many that I did know right off the bat, I was able to just pass it like that. So that's big tip. Other tip, obviously, while you're waiting, have the DMV Genie app on your phone. so that you can go through and cram while you're doing this. And other huge tip, obviously, actually prepare ahead of time. You know what I mean? Just like it, it's not like I thought it was going to be a lot of junk with like specific questions like exact weights and stuff like that, but I didn't really feel like anything really tripped me up. I did get one question wrong. I don't remember now what it was, but like I totally disagreed with it, but it's just the way that it was worded. There was like I don't remember what it was, something like really vague. And so anyways, it doesn't matter because you can pass so easily. Just take your time to do it right. And so anyways, then after you pass your final test, then you gotta get a ticket again, wait for someone else in the DMV, and it took over an hour again until I got to see someone. So finally I get up there, and I was waiting because they told me I didn't know anything about the $6.25 for the computer testing, and everyone that I talked to with the tax collector's office was all saying, they're like, yeah, we don't know how much a CDL permit is. It's either going to be, or the learner's permit, it's either going to be like $56 because that's what the regular one is, or you're going to have to pay like your $80-something, which is what the full CDL is. So anyway, so I get up there and I ask them, this is my final thing. I'm like checking out. I already passed all my stuff, so I'm ready to get my permit. And it's totally free. Totally free. There's no charge for it. You pay when I go and I pass and I pass my skills exam and all that stuff. Then I come back. Then I got to pay the 80 whatever it is for the CDL. But yeah, for your learner's permit in Florida, you just pay the computer testing fees. That's it. And they actually print it out and do it. It's like a separate driver's license card. So you got to still carry your driver's license, but then you have this CDL learner's permit that you also carry anytime you're in a commercial vehicle as well. And then when you pass it, then they collect both of your the learner's permit and your license, and they issue you a full CDL. So then you only have to carry the one. So carry the one card. So not a big deal. It's just like none of this information. I could not find any of this information out there. So I wanted to make a video about that. I'm going to be documenting the rest of the stuff for my journey as I'm getting my CDL. And but I wanted to get that out there, and anyone who had questions about it, hit me up in the comments or whatever. I'll answer everything I can, but I'm pretty sure I've covered pretty much everything in this video. So with that, I mean, we're at like 18 minutes, but that's everything you're going to need to know. If you have like a DMV where you got to schedule the stuff, schedule for literally first thing in the morning, because I was there at like 9:30 was my appointment time. I could have taken an 8:30. I wish I would have, because as the day went on, every time I had to wait to go see him, it took me over 4 hours just for this stuff, and I spent like a total of 14 minutes actually taking the test. So get in there, got a plan. I thought I was going to be in and out in like an hour, but there I go thinking, especially some sort of government bureaucracy BS. Got to go through all the red tape. So schedule your appointment as early as possible. Get yourself trained, or actually study, and take yourself into take the DMV Genie or some sort of app like that. Make sure you have it so you can cram while you're waiting. But anyways, that's it. Hit up in the comments anything you got, any questions or whatever, and we'll get you taken care of. All right, that's it. See ya.